We're here for COTA, Circuit of the Americas in Austin, and I'm your host Jamie Morris. Will take you through for round 14 out of 18 in the championship. So our last week's race winner went to CRL Ferg. Dominated performance after he managed to get that pit stop ahead of Harvey Lees. Can Harvey Lees fight back? I think is he in the session, because I've not seen his name popped up. Yes, he is. He's in the McLaren CRL Harvey. So can Harvey fight back? He missed out on a podium last week because the podium sitters changed because of the wet conditions, which later turned into the dry conditions. But hopefully, for the driver's sake, they hope for it to be dry, because it is a difficult circuit. Even in the dry it's difficult, but in the wet it's even more tricky due to the sequence of corners. So our podium sitters last week went to CRL Ferg, the race winner. Second place went to Duwell, and third place for the first time ever went to Het Bompier in the Haas, after he drove an amazing strategy, because he took the intermediates for a long way. The intermediates were fading after like 24 laps old. Het Bompier managed those well, and when the dry conditions came, he switched on to those dry tyres, the soft tyres, because there was only a few laps to go. Managed to pull off an amazing stint towards the end of the race and took third place ahead of Harvey and Nathan, the two charging for the championship and wanting the podium. But it was AJ actually, because Nathan had a few problems after he went on the wrong tyre compound. So it was AJ who was hunting down Het Bompier for their last podium sitter. Duwell, which was just too far ahead, they couldn't catch him even if they overtook Het Bompier. Duwell managed to do an amazing job in the wet. He was so consistent and managed to keep those guys behind despite so many attempts of overtaking him, but he held off in the end and came home a fantastic second place, a good recovery from the last few races he's had and suffered. So let's hope there's another race, a good race here in the United States. This track does provide some good racing, because it's set to 2, you can fight all the way down to turn 14, 16. You can go side by side with a triple right-hander, but that's not advisable because it is a right-hander, triple right-hander, and overheat your front tyres a lot due to the amount of steering input you're putting in and the extra tyre temperature. So it's a good track for fighting, and we're going to see a lot of warnings and penalties. I'm not going to be surprised if I see a lot of them, but one thing I'll be surprised if not many drivers will get a penalty due to exceeding track limits or corner cutting. So they've got to keep an eye on that. And tyre strategy should be soft to medium or soft to hard. It all depends what happens in the race, if they follow each other or choose to go to the different strategies. And in the race we had on Monday, we had no safety cars, if I can recall that correctly. No, we didn't. So we didn't have any safety cars. I don't think we had a virtual either, but it was wet conditions towards the end of the race, which changed a lot. And that was the pivotal moment when everybody had to switch over to the intermediates at the right time. If it does rain, it'll probably come towards the end like it always does. That people could change their strategies to a 2-stop, possibly a 3-stop, depending on what they're going to do. But it's full qualifying. Monday was short qualifying, the 18-minute session, and 18 minutes in the first qualifying session, 15 minutes in the second qualifying session, 12 minutes for the third qualifying session. Then obviously we have formation lap and then the race to determine who will be the race winner of round 14 in the United States. It is 8:03, and we should be going very soon with all the drivers here. We'll wait a few minutes because I'm not quite sure what we're waiting for. Everybody is here. So the United States then was first introduced in 2012, and surprisingly 100,000 fans walked out when Lewis Hamilton took the victory for McLaren when he was back in McLaren in 2012. I think he was Sebastian Vettel versus Lewis Hamilton. Then Lewis Hamilton took the victory off him in 2012, took the lead off him, and he managed to win. But his records in the United States have been amazing, because he's won here 4 times out of 6. 8 actually. He won 4 out of 8. Obviously we didn't have the USA Grand Prix last year in 2020 due to COVID, but Hamilton's records has been amazing around here. He loves this track. And if you remember 2015, when the wet conditions came at the start of the race, that was an amazing event because it turned dry towards the end. Nico Rosberg should have won that race, but he made that mistake coming out of turn 16, and that's allowed Lewis Hamilton to go take the victory off him to take his third win of the United States. 2016 was pretty an easy victory for Lewis Hamilton. 2017, I think it was easy for him. Then, obviously, for the first time in like 111 races, Kimi Raikkonen won the United States Grand Prix after he pulled off an amazing strategy against Lewis Hamilton, hold him up, and managed to finish first. Then Valtteri Bottas won the race afterwards after he did a different strategy compared to his teammate and took the victory off him towards the dying stages of that race. Race winners, Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel, for that one time, has only won once in Austin. We all know what happened in 2018, which some people don't want to be reminded of. And in 2019 too, when he something fell apart from the suspension too. So, not a good record for Sebastian Vettel, even though he did win the race back in 2013, but not the hybrid season, I must say, as we are finally away for Q1. So I get the championship standings up for you then. And I believe CRL Ferg is leading the championship. So I'll go take a look now. And I've got news. That's my co-commentator, Bakke Yogurt, will not be joining until next season because he's got other stuff to take care of. So sadly, Joachim won't be by my side to commentate with me. It's always nice to have Joachim, but sadly he won't be here until next season. So you're just gonna bear with me for the rest of the season. I'll do a good job to try and entertain you guys and give you the best stream there is. So I'll go to the tier 1 standings and we'll see. There it is then. So CRL Ferg is leading after a good performance. He extended his championship lead, and once it fully loads up, I think it's AJ or Nathan in second place. It's one of the brothers in second place, if it just loads up for me. Here we are then in the qualifier session. Just looks, I don't know, the conditions are dry obviously, but not too warm out there. Looks like it's morning time out there in the USA. And here they are then, the Drivers' Championship. If it finally loads up, it should do. Just Discord taking the mic. There we go then. So finally they've loaded up, and CRL Ferg, Nathan's still in second place after a unlucky performance in Hungary, is fair to say. As you can see, cars are starting to come out of the track now with the soft tyres fitted to them. That's the main way to go in Q1. You don't really see many people out on the medium tyres in Q1 because you want to save them for Q2, because you only get one set of medium tyres in the qualifying session, and Danny Boy gets out of the way for the Red Bull there. You don't want to park there because the game is strange. It could disqualify you for parking in the wrong place, so you gotta be careful. I don't know why I'm letting it go. You should have just gone to the end of the pit lane and followed the normal rules and regulations. But yep, as you can see, Danny Boy's already validated it, and it's his outlap. So we best hope you don't do that. But we've got a newcomer, and his name is Seb Royal Gamer. So welcome, Seb Royal Gamer. I think he's replacing iNemo because he hasn't been here for a few races now for whatever reason. But on his return to racing, iNemo did score that podium back in Spain. So hope he comes back soon. Maybe watching the stream if he could tell us where he is. If not, that is okay. So we did see the Red Bull come out of the pits first, and that's CRL Krishna. And sadly for Krishna, he's down in 19th place in the championship, just ahead of Isarel Cohen, who still hasn't scored a point. Isarel Cohen has got the pace to score points, but sadly it just goes all down the drain in the race. So, championship standards like I promised. Ferg in first place. He's 53 points ahead of CRL Nathan. Can Nathan close in? Well, how many rounds we got left to go? It's round 13, and I'm not quite sure if there's 5 races left to go or 4. But Nathan then, can he still close in on CRL Ferg? AJ down in P3, he's 78 points off, as we're about to see Krishna start a lap time, so you could go aboard with him while I'll take the championship standards. Harvey Lee's in 4th place, 228 points, he's 109 points behind Ferg. Mathematically, he can still get it, but realistically, it's quite difficult as Krishna takes a wide line through Tier 1, and he spins! Krishna has lit the rear tyres up, got on the throttle way too early. He broke traction and hit the wall, but thankfully not with his front wing, with his rear tyre. So Krishna then, a lucky escape from him. But I just saw that when I looked up, because I was reading the championship standings, and when I looked up, he just spun. So the tyres should be good to go for one more lap. Obviously he's done one corner on those tyres. The spin will add a bit of wear, but it shouldn't be too bad. So as he gets out of the way for the next coming car, and that's going to be Danny Boy. So keep an eye on turn 1 because people could get caught out. It's an off-camber first corner too. Uphill, unsighted corner. And Duels in P5 after getting a good haul of points. It's actually during visitors in P5. You can see a bit of a oversteer from Danny Boy as he applies the throttle on the straight now. Duel in P6. CRC Mark in P7. iNemo in P8. Indian Jesus in P9. Louis Ladd in P10. And is Louis Ladd racing? No, he's not. I don't think he is anyway. He's usually in the Renault, but he's not. It is Dixon and Very who's in the Renault. Solid purple sector from Danny Boy. Entering the difficult traction zones. Very easy to lose the car through there. Obviously it's low speed corners as well. Now coming into the fast left-hander, be fully committed through here, chuck the car in, use the outside curve, which he doesn't do, just to make sure you don't want to invalidate. Coming to the final corner, and he's invalidated on the final corner. You don't really see that as he crosses the line through 131.0. Next to cross the line is Krishna, but he's obviously invalidated it. So on board with our championship leader, a 55.9 for Krishna, and Cyril Ferg then instantly sets the benchmark with a 29.6, so that's a very decent lap time from him. As his teammates next to cross the line, that's Cyril Mark who's about to start his flying lap. So could his teammate give him a tow down the straight, but you don't really need it for Q1. As Sieb Royal Gamer has gone up into P2, the Dutchman then on the second row with Ferg ahead of his teammate. And who's next out there? So Williams next to cross the line. Is that Icewell Cohen who's in that middle sector? There he is, he's coming towards the final corner and about to start his lap time. What about his teammate, Troy A? Is also about to start his lap time. I believe some people came out of pits really late. Not really late, but some people come out early. As I think Strauss has already completed a lap on those tyres. It says 1 lap. So I wonder if he's invalidated his first lap or made a mistake. But anyway, he rounds the penultimate corner to set a representative lap time. And let's see what time he sets then. The Dutchman crosses the line and just behind his fellow Dutchman, only by a few thousandths, not too bad from Pepijn Strauss, as Het Bompje, another Dutchman, up into P2 with a 130.4. So I was talking to Het Bompje at the start, well not the start, but a few days ago, and he says he's really strong in the first sector. It's the third sector he struggles with, so can he try and make any amends in that third sector so we can hook up the perfect lap time as he wants it to be. So next across the line is a Ferrari, and where's CRO Mark down in P19 coming around the triple right-hander. Now coming down the left-hander, there's a yellow flag in that middle sector, that's a racing point, that's Ferg on his in lap, as Mark will come to the final corner now. Let's see what lap time he can set. It's going to be a 29.6, so both racing points, 1 and 2. A good sign so far from both of them, and he's only 8 thousandths away from his teammate as Krishna improves his lap time with a 131.0. He made a mistake on his first lap, obviously, as we know what Danny Boy likes to do. Danny Boy likes to do loads and loads of lap on the same set of tyres. It is Q1, so your Q1 tyres don't really matter unless you're using a load of tyres, which you don't want to do because obviously you won't have any left. As the AlphaTauri is next to cross the line to start his flying lap. That is Duel down there in P19. And there's a Williams coming around the triple right-hander, and that could be Troy A. It is Troy A coming around the penultimate corner, uses lovely turning uses a lot of track as well. That's what you want to do, use a lot of track, but try not to invalidate it, which he just done. What lap time could it have been? A 30.2. That would have put him to third place. I'm not really seeing people invalidate through the last corner. That's a strange place for me, but unless you turn in very early, that could be one of the reasons why. But that's 2 people I've seen invalidate so far. Bearing in mind, I did see some invalidations in the race in Academy. Look at that, look at the speed, look at the commitment, look at the bravery from AJ. As it's a 24.2 and bonus points because he's on a wheel. The first sector will suit him dearly, and he doesn't go too wide at the exit of turn 9 to invalidate his lap time. So this lap looks absolutely fantastic, and I believe AJ has a lot of confidence in that Alfa Romeo to try and get some good results for tonight's race. And he's pulling over to the left so we can get a tow from Troye. I'll give you a story. One time I hit the back of somebody because I tried to get the tow and pulled out too late. As AJ then comes towards turn 11, the heavy braking zone, hooks it up nicely. Next one is a very difficult corner. Not difficult, but the exit of it is because it's slow speed corners. You want to be careful not to light up the rear tyres and break traction. So Duval's up into P3 with a 30.0. Steiny is up into P4. As you can see, AJ almost lost the car with traction, and Steiny's on a 30.4, and Duval has set a very good lap time in that AlphaTauri. And here comes AJ through the penultimate corner. What lap time can he set in the Alfa Romeo? Heading around the final corner, and let's see what he can do. It's a 29.9, and he goes P3. I believe he lost a bit of time in that middle sector because his first sector looked absolutely mighty. And here's Het Bompier for his second lap time, or third shall I say. And he crosses the line to go P5. Do you know what? It's looking very comfortable for Het Bompier because he's done 3 laps on those tyres, and you only want to do 1 lap because it's the best peak performance you could possibly get out of those tyres. And it was looking really good despite doing 3 laps, and it was like he'd go for another one too. Obviously you could do loads of laps in Q1 as long as you don't use like more than 2 sets of tyres, because it'd be crucial. As here's Harvey Lees, and Harvey will put his McLaren up into 3rd place, not far away from both racing points. Will he do more laps to get more experience and feel for the track? Because doing the more laps, more knowledge, much better in the qualifying situation. So as you can see, Ferg and Mark have already retired, so they will get any more experience of the track than Harvey Lees will, and the rest of them will. And here's Nathan on his flying lap heading into turn 1, using a lot of curb on the outside, and here's Very right behind him. So interestingly, Very's gone with him. It won't affect him too much, but obviously if Nathan makes a mistake and Very's nearby, then it could be costly. Indy and Jesus then coming through turn 9, and you get to see what his first sector's like. And there's his teammate ahead of him, so Jeroen Visser, he misses the apex of the corner and he almost loses the car, so Indy and Jesus will lose a lot of time in that one corner alone. And here's Jeroen Visser giving his teammate a slipstream. Let's see what top speed it will be. It'll be 207 miles per hour, 330 kilometers an hour for you. Oh, he's turned in way too early, but I don't know how, but Indy and Jesus has got away with not invalidating it, so lucky boy for Indy and Jesus there. As he swings his way now into turn 15, it's a crucial exit because it's very easy to break traction through there, especially in that last sector. Coming around the triple right-hander now, and this is another place where it's easy validated. You want to go too wide through here, unlike IndyCar. Now coming through the final corner, and let's see what Indy Jesus could set then in the Ferrari. It's going to be a 30.3, and he's 2 tenths away from Het Bompier, who's in the pits. Where's Nathan? He was just behind Indy and Jesus. There he is down in P16. What can he do? Crosses the line, goes P5. Very behind him. Where can Very go? Very up into P16. Now interestingly, Very's done 3 laps on those set of tyres, and it looks like he'll be in a danger zone situation because he's in P16 and he's done 3 laps on those tyres, and I don't think he's going to plan to do another one because he is running out of fuel. So I think he could find himself using another set of tyres, which you don't want to do. The max tyres you want to use is 1 set, and obviously him being down in P16, he's got to go again on a brand new set because I doubt he can get any more time out of those soft tyres. So in a dangerous situation. So we didn't see Troye set a lap. He's coming around the final corner and takes a unique approach into that final corner, and we see Farrell Fury, the Irishman, round in turn 11 or turn 10. And there's his Mercedes teammate giving him a lovely slipstream down that straight. He must get his braking zone right. Can't afford to do what Indy and Jesus did. Now coming into that middle sector, coming into turn 12 as a 10.7, turn 13, turn 14. I love these sequence of corners as we come through turn 16. I love these corners because you can, in that last sector, you're going to see a lot of fighting going on. As we come to the penultimate corner, takes it rather nice and uses all of the track on the exit, and now we head through the final corner, and his lap time is going to be a 1:30.1, and that puts him into P7. So both Mercedes then inside that top 10, and we see Jeroen Visser out there on track. He's not done anything, has he? He's in the pits actually. So Jeroen Visser then, it looks like he's invalidated his lap time and he hasn't got enough fuel to go out for another run. So we'll have to go back in the pits and refuel again. Troye, the Williams driver, hasn't set a lap time along with the 3. So all 3 of them under big pressure as Cartboy's under pressure down in P16, and he's out on track somewhere. We can see a McLaren ahead of us. That McLaren is Stanley or Harvey. Troye is in the pits. And that McLaren was Stanley because Harvey Lees is still on his outlap. Alright then, so Jeroen Visser, Adam Dixon and Troye, unfortunately for them, they're in the drop zone, so they're going to have to go out again and put on a brand new set of tyres. That's a Ferrari quite out of the garage, and that probably will be Jeroen Visser because he's down there in P18 in danger. There's Harvey Lees on his outlap. I really hope he hasn't got a brand new set of tyres on, has he? No, he hasn't, so he's just got that one lap old tyres on from the first one he did, because you really want to use one set of tyres if you can help it, of course. But the guys, like, I must say, it's a really close field, and here is Harvey Lees giving his German teammate a slipstream. Adam Dixon is out there somewhere. I think he's entering turn 11 as Harvey Lees gets out of the way for his teammate. So we're going to go on board now with his teammate. Where are you, Stanley? He's in P10, so he's safe, but he's going to go for another run. And Stanley, not on a brand new set of tyres, he's on a scrub set, so he hasn't used up another set of tyres, which is crucial. Probably for an exploratory lap time, get to know the track better. Coming through the penultimate corner, takes it nice and easy. To the final corner we go. Uses a lot of track on the entry, get a better turn in, better angle as well. Don't go too wide, which he almost did, and he goes up into P9. Stanley is very confident using a lot of the track. And there's Cartboy in the first sector, and Dubel's retired because he knows he's safe as Danny Boy. Danny Boy's in the drop zone, and he's on a brand new set of the soft compound tyres as somebody's just got up a place. So that's the Renault of Adam Dixon, who's got himself out of the drop zone in P9, so he's safe at the moment. People I dare say not safe is 13th downwards. Sieb Royal Gamer, the Dutchman, is out on his outlap. Harvey Lees is in P3 in the pits. Now I don't know if he's abandoned that second flying run or headed straight to the pits. It must be that way. That was a Williams going through, and that's Troye on his outlap. So Troye then, he's only got one more lap to make it count. There he is. What about his Williams teammate? Isabel Cohen is 1/10 up in the middle sector. Can't afford to make any mistakes like he's just done. That'll lose him a bit of time. Hopefully not a lot for his sake. Bearing in mind he's got one more lap to do. Coming to the penultimate corner he goes. Don't want to go too wide. He just got away with that one. Into the final corner we go for Isabel Cohen. Where can he go? Where can the Dutchman go? It's going to be, sadly, P14. He has not improved that, so that little mistake he did in turn 16 has cost him dearly, and that will be his last flying run. AlphaTauri is slowing down that first set. Is that Strauss? Well, let me take a control of him, so I have to go on board with him myself. No, it's not Strauss, it's his teammates. So I wonder what his teammates up to. His teammates retired from the session as Adam Dixon has gone P4, as Cohen is 2/10 up in the first sector then. So Cohen, it's crucial for him to keep this lap nice and tidy and as quick as he can, because he could find himself in a danger zone. Jeroen Visser, here he comes to the penultimate corner, locks up slightly. That would affect him too much. Jeroen Visser almost loses control, and he's in P15. The Dutchman will not be happy with that lap time. He best hope and pray that nobody improves, because he's just on the cusp of elimination, and Danny Boy is most likely to push him out with that stunning middle sector. And yes, he does push him out. Jeroen Visser, no, he's going for another lap. So Jeroen Visser then has to make that lap count, otherwise he's knocked out. And we don't really see Jeroen Visser being knocked out in Q1, do we? So that'd be a big surprise and shocker. Troye's in the middle sector, as we can see a Renault coming towards the final corner. That's going to be Very's P11, so he's safe at the moment. Pushes Isabel Cohen in the drop zone. And there's Isabel Cohen in P16. As he makes his way across the line, he's got himself through, and he's in P11, sorry. As Troye is coming to the final corner, where can he go? It's going to be P14, so he's got himself in. What about the new Dutch driver? Oh my dear, he's invalidated his lap. What about Krishna? P16. That's it for Krishna. Jeroen Visser, where is he? Oh, Jeroen, he's invalidated it. And here's Strauss, the only man that can knock Indian Jesus out. Improvement in the middle sector, but that's not going to be enough to knock him out. In the dying stages of qualifying, Can Strauss knock out Indian Jesus? If he does, that's both Ferraris out of Q1. As he hard rounds the penultimate corner. Indian Jesus there will be looking to see. Oh, he's gone too wide, but hasn't invalidated it. And he moves ahead of Jeroen Visser. That's 3 Dutch people knocked out of Q1. So Sieb Royal Gamer, the new Red Bull driver, on his debut, not too far behind his teammate Krishna. But the big shocker, I must say, is Jeroen Visser. One-time race winner in Bahrain, and now he's been knocked out of Q1. So he'll have to find a way to claw his way back to the field and back where he should be. But sadly, he's knocked out. Guten Tag. Thank you for giving me that information, Herr Bompier. So, confirmation that it is dry for the race and for the qualifying session, so I don't need to pray or hope for rain. So when Q2 starts, I'll be back. Tell you one thing though, from P1 to P20 separated by a second, this grid is so close. Look at it. Look at the 2 teammates, 8,000 separated from both of them. Racing Point looking absolutely dominant. It's only Q1, so we can't really judge from the first qualified session, but we'll find out in the next couple of minutes and see what happens. Prediction for pole? Wait, let me go check this comment. Matthew Horner, welcome to the stream, mate. You related to Christian Horner by any chance? If you are, get me a Red Bull seat. I don't know why, but that glitch where CRL Ferg sets the fastest lap, I hope that doesn't impact, because I really want to see. Well, we've got the graphic on the left hand side anyway, but fastest lap from CRL Ferg. But we can use that as a, what's it called? A reference point, shall we say. And 29.6, and that's, he only did 1 lap, so I'm expecting big things. Can we get in the 28s? Is that possible? 6/10 away in the first qualifier session on his first lap. And now you can see on the left hand side of your graphics there on the timing tower that 3 people have opted to go on the medium compound tyres, but we can see a change later. The strategy is soft to medium or soft to hard, depending how long you can take those soft tyres for. It's all about tyre management and strategy here, but no rain involved, so it's fully a dry race. As we've got more people coming out of the track. First of them is Danny Boy. I think he's used a set of tyres because he did an extra lap. He did 5 laps, then almost lost it on his outlap there. Three more people on the outlap. I didn't think so. Thank you for letting me down, Matthew. I'm not really kidding, mate. But as you can see there, Adam Dixon has also gone to the mediums. CRL Harvey on the mediums too. But anyways, it's early parts of qualifying. They could be switching over soon. Maybe it's just a bluff or an exploratory lap time. You get 2 sets of mediums if you choose balanced. 1 for quali and 1 for the race. If you choose softer, you get 4 sets of soft, 1 set of hards, and 1 set of the medium compound tyres. If you choose, what's the other one? Harder, you get 2 sets of softs, 2 sets of mediums, and 1 set of hard. I'm not quite sure because I've never ever chosen the harder strategy. As Danny Boy then rounds the penultimate corner then to start his flying lap. Notice on the outlap that he's had a bit of a few moments, so Hopefully that won't happen on his flying lap as he starts his first lap, makes his way up towards the first corner. It is unsighted indeed. As soon as you get over the hill, you can see the first corner. Traction is really crucial here as well. Nice exit from Danny Boy coming through turn 2. Maggis and Beckett, you want to treat these two corners, well, these corners like Maggis and Beckett's. Next one, then the next one should be lift off and a slight brake. 24.6 in the first sector from Danny Boy. This one here, turn 8. Turn 9 can be a bit difficult. Do they class this as turn 10? Yes, they do, because I think it MotoGP. And we're coming through turn 11. Gets in the power rather nicely, does Danny Boy. Very smooth driving indeed. Very committed, very fast, like his teammate AJ. We'll love to see AJ's lap because the way he turned in that first sector, it was just incredible to watch. And the middle sector is a 101.3 as he slightly misses the apex and goes wide and almost loses traction. That's going to cost him a bit of time, so we have to rectify his mistake if he does another flying lap and try not to make the same mistake as he did. McLaren in the middle sector going slowly, and I think they're on his out lap. Oh, Danny Boy hesitant on the throttle there, and he turned in way too early, and he's in the pits he goes. So he couldn't do another flying lap because he only fueled that car to do one lap, and that one lap has gone down the drain because he validated it in that penultimate corner. So not the first and last driver that's going to be caught out by that validation. You're going to expect loads of people to do it, especially in the race as well. We see Nathan there as we make our way through the penultimate corner. Let's see what he can set. The benchmark with 29.6 in the first qualifying session. Locks up, goes a bit wider than he would have wanted to. It's a 29.5, so it's a tenth quicker than Ferg. So I say that because it was a 29.6 in the first qualifying session, but obviously the track can evolve. As Stanley then does a good lap time of a 49.3. He's 20 seconds off on Nathan, so he needs to find a big improvement as he misses the first corner. Yellow flags in sector 1. We can see two cars ahead of us. Hopefully they'll get out of the way. I think one of them's on a lap and one of them's in the outer lap. We just saw Nathan do a lap. So as we can see then, Steiny making navigating his way perfectly through the first sector. He's 4 seconds up in the first sector, so that tells me he made a big mistake in sector 1. And obviously he didn't validate it because it would have validated it. As Het Bompier goes to P2, there's a racing point across the line next, and I think he started his flying lap. Or his, one of them's coming out of the pits and the other one's on an out lap. You can see then more and more cars coming out of the pit lane. As you can see, Steiny using all of the curb on the entry, gets a really good turn into Steiny. Maybe I should take advice from that. 10.7. Oh, he almost lost the car on traction there. Got a bit eager on the throttle and caused him to almost lose the car. So that's going to cost him a few tenths at least. Cost him a bit of time, so will he consider going for a second run? Because this grid is so tight, if you lose 1 tenth, you could find yourself losing 7 positions. So I've always gone too wide, and that's going to not invalidate his lap time. So Steiny then, as you can see, has made a lot of errors on that lap, and that's a 30.3, so he could definitely get himself into 29s if he doesn't make those mistakes again. Val Fiori in P4, Adam Dixon on the medium tyres, a 131.2, and I dare say he's going to have to switch over to the soft tyres if he wants to get himself inside that qualifying session. Cohen, a 31.4, and he's 2 tenths away from Adam Dixon. Yellow flags down there in sector 2, I think that's Nathan slowing down. Ferg then using all of the track, all of the road coming towards the penultimate final corner, and let's see what lap time this is going to be. It's a 29.5 and it does not go quicker than Nathan, but still it's a very good lap, and that puts him up with Nathan. As AJ is on the medium compound tyres, so that's very interesting for his choice of strategy, but of course there's 8 minutes left to go and you can always change over to these soft compound tyres. I wonder where Mark is. There he is, heading towards the first corner. Love the way they turn into the first corner. Harvey Leeds has gone back in the pit lane. He was out on the track. Was he out on the track? I think he was. I saw 2 McLarens out there, but don't think he wanted to do a lap on those medium compound tyres. On board with Danny Boy then. I think, yes he is, he's on a brand new set of the soft compound tyres, so if he makes it through to Q3, he might only have one set of fresh tyres left to do a flying lap, so he used quite a lot of tyres, didn't he, as he makes his way towards turn 9. That's where Sebastian Vettel broke his suspension up there, wasn't it, in 2019? No fault of his own, of course, but it was just a shame, really. The year before that, Kimi Räikkönen won the race. DRS is now enabled. Last race winner here in USA still belongs to Valtteri Bottas, because obviously we didn't have a USA Grand Prix here in 2020 due to COVID. Not really a track. I didn't really think Valtteri Bottas liked the track at all, but it's more like a Lewis Hamilton track. As you can see on the records, he's won most of them. Probably 5 out of the 9 we've had from 2012 to 2019. So Danny Boy then makes his way through the triple right-hander, and here he comes towards the penultimate corner. Downs 2 gears, try to get the extra rotation he wants to. Coming through the last corner he goes, short shift on the entry. It's a 30.4 and he's in P7. Indian Jesus is out there somewhere. There he is. Oh, he's backed out of it, so he must have made a mistake. No, he hasn't. He's invalidated it. So Indian Jesus then down in P13 with 6 minutes to go. Got plenty of lap time left to try and get himself into that top 10. The only driver in my eyes on the medium compound tyres is AJ, so it's common sense for him to go on the soft compound tyres, because there's no way he's making it on those medium compound tyres, even though they're a good race tyre. Maybe it was just a exploratory lap time, who knows, but we'll have to come back in the pits and try and do a lap on those soft compound tyres with 5 minutes left to go. If I stop messing with the graphics, of course. Alright, here goes Duel then. We're going to go on board with him. Coming towards the last corner, what lap time can a Frenchman set? It's going to be P9. So we know he didn't do that lap time in Q1. We know there's more. There's more for him to come and deliver. So looks like he made an error on that lap in P9. So the best lap times people have done on the mediums is Adam Dixon is 1/10 ahead of AJ, despite being on those medium compound tyres. Well, I mean, they're both on the mediums, but Adam Dixon quicker than AJ on those. I saw Cohen down there in P12. And where's Troyer then? In the Williams, there he is on the straight. Troyer's best result is currently P4. Jeroen Vissett, absolutely gutted with myself. Oh mate, they got the race to come. Jeroen, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this your last race due to exams coming up? Is this your last race? I'm not quite sure. Just let me know on that one. If it is, I really wish you the best of luck in this last race of yours. Steiny's on his outlap. Is he on a brand new set of tyres? Yes he is, so he's using another set of tyres in Q2. You want to save them for Q3 obviously, but looks like he'll be 1 tyre short away, as Troyer will come across the line now to go P9. He's got himself in the top 10, but he's in the danger zone, sadly for him. Where's Duval? He's in the pits, so a lot of people in the pits just watching each other. Let's have a quiet lap for Steiny, shall we? Oh dear, invalidation in that penultimate corner. That's the third driver I've seen do that so far. So Stanley then under big pressure now, and they'll have to go for another lap on those tyres. He's currently in P6, and he did one lap on those other set of tyres, so if he backs out of that one, he could start on one set. As interestingly, we see Ferg out there on a brand new set of the soft compound tyres. I wonder what he's doing out there. Does he feel unsafe? I wonder. Harvey leads then. Harvey almost lost it through that first sector. Under big pressure is the Englishman. He was P3 in the last qualifying session then. He was giving his teammate a slipstream down that straight. Steiny made a few errors in that middle sector. You can see the back end of the car just stepping out on him. Desperately trying to get the downforce he wants. We've got a lot of cars out there as we're all on laps and some on out laps. There's 5 drivers on an out lap, so hopefully they don't come across those people. There's a 1:0.3 in the middle sector. I don't know if that's good enough to get himself inside the top 10. Maybe it is, but I've not seen other people's middle sector. There's 1 minute to go, so crucial stages qualifying now will determine if you will get inside the top 10 or not for the race. As now we make our way through the penultimate corner. Really crucial not to invalidate on the exit. He almost did. Just stayed in the bounds, the track limits of the white lines there. As Harvey Lees will come across the line in P2. He can relax now as he's finally completed the lap and knows he's safe. Elsewhere, we've got a few people. Where are they? Who's the first man to cross the line? Somebody's just moved up a place. Is that Danny Boy? Or was it AJ? It was AJ on P6. Where's Steiny? Steiny, that's qualifying over for him, so he best hope that lap time is good enough to get himself in Q3, sorry. Who's that McLaren ahead of us? That's Harvey Lees. Hopefully he gets out of the way, which he does. Alfa Romeo's just crossed the line. That's Danny Boy. He's up into P9. India Jesus up into P8. Adam Dixon's in P9. Let me go. Was that an AlphaTauri duel? No, it wasn't. I thought he made a mistake because there was a yellow flag in that area. So I wonder if he just spun the car somewhere. Not seen nobody spin so far. Adam Dixon then up into P10. But he's under big pressure. Danny Boy. That's it from Danny Boy. He is knocked out of Q2. Very then. One time down in the middle sector. In the first sector. What's his middle sector going to be? He's 2 tenths down again. So I don't think if he can find a mighty lap in that last sector, he won't get himself inside that top 10. If he could pull it out, if he could pull it all out in that last sector, he's still pushing though. So he's still got some faith and belief that he can get himself inside that top 10. If he does get inside the top 10, he'll push his teammate out. One Renault goes ahead of another, which he doesn't do. So he did improve in that last sector, but it wasn't enough to go inside that top 10. Duel, his one and only lap time, his second lap time. He will come across the line now to go P6. So he's pushed Adam Dixon out of the qualifying session, and that's it. That's qualifying done for you. The drivers are knocked out is Adam Dixon, Danny Boy, Very, Isiro Cohen and Troye, both Williams in P14 and in P15. But Troye, keep an eye on him because you know we've got good race pace. But Nathan then leading Q2 ahead of Harvey Lees, who's done a mighty job. Het Bompier has just set the fastest lap. He's just got up into P1. Here comes Nathan around the penultimate corner. Het Bompier sets the fastest lap with a 29.4. What can Nathan do in the Mercedes? And he stays in second place. Where's Ferg? Ferg has invalidated his lap time, so that's him done for the session. And your boy Het Bompier is leading Q2, as I'll take a short break from here on in. What's your predictions for qualifying then? Head Bompier leads them, Harvey, Nathan and Ferg by 10th. It's very close, isn't it? Head Bompier looking really good. He's always been good at qualifying, but in the race he can slip up sometimes, it must be said. But if you get qualifying sorted out, can he get a pole position for the first time? He's got good pace. He's told me he's got good pace. He struggles in that third sector. You can find any time in that last sector we could see a brand new pole sitter for this afternoon's race or this evening's race. And Head Bompier is joined, so he must have left somewhere in that loading screen. Thankfully he's joined back. Hopefully he doesn't glitch out the session or glitches the session. We know what this game's like. As the Ferrari then comes out of the pits, that's Indian Jesus coming out of his garage. So Indian Jesus was on the cusp of elimination from Q1, but he finds himself in Q3, so he must have done something to get himself out of danger. Look at that, he got 8 drivers from CRL in the top 10, bearing in mind Ferg is from Relentless and so is Feral Fury, who used to be ISRL. There he is then, Indian Jesus. I think he's won 1 race, or is it 2? It's definitely 1 race, and that was back in Bahrain. He's got about 2 or 3 podiums to his name. He's done a sterling job this season as Indian Jesus. He's inside the top 10 as well. Didn't go his way in Hungary, did it? Or Spain, as I recall. Made a few mistakes in Hungary. I think he got front wing damage too. Yes, he did. He got front wing damage at the start of the race because he tried to go down the inside of Ferg, but both made contact, and Indian Jesus suffered the consequences by losing his end plate. So you could say justice was served there from dive bombing. But who could we see on pole position for tonight? Thank you, Kevin, for calling me a goat. I appreciate it. You can see more and more drivers coming out of the pit lane now. Can Harvey Lees get on pole position? I know he's not got a race win this season, but in terms of qualifying, he's got some decent 1-lap pace. Nathan Booth. Nathan's taking pole in some races, and he's finished first in some races too, so he's also got good pace. Het Bompier, I've already told you about him. He just needs to sort out his race pace, and he's sorted. AJ Wuhan can slip up sometimes in races, but when it's his day, and he'll come after you no matter what. Steiny, well, he started to get much better now. I'm not saying he was bad in the first place, but he just made those few mistakes as a rookie driver, of course, and ever since he's raced longer, he's progressed more and started to find his rhythm and balance as well. So he's also doing a good job, and he finds himself in Q3 even more because he used to get knocked out of Q1 or Q2, but he's finding his rhythm now. Indian Jesus, what can I describe him as? He's very quick, but he obliterates his EOS very early in the race, it must be said. So he's left vulnerable on the straights. And a track like this, it's very crucial to have DRS because you will be overtaken on this straight, but no doubt about it. Duel, well, it's hard to describe him because he was the 2-time world champion of CRL. And then something happened in this season. Maybe he wasn't practicing like he was before. Maybe he's just, I don't know. It's a 0.6 in the middle sector from Indian Jesus. Mark, he's a very good driver. He's got some good pace on his hands. And Feral Fury. I've not really seen him much in the top 10. He has scored a podium this season. That was back in the wet in Russia. But I've not really seen him much in the top 10. As Indian Jesus makes his way round the final corner now, heading towards that final corner. And let's see what he can do then in the Ferrari. This lap time is going to be a 30.1. And let's see who could beat that then. Where's Het Bompier? I think he's next to cross the line. It won't let me go to him, so I'm going to have to go to him myself down there. No, it's not Het Bompier. Who is it? Is it AJ? I think he's next to cross the line, so we'll go on board with him. It's actually a racing point next to cross the line. I think that's Ferg. That was CRL Mark, so it is his teammate next to cross the line. What lap time can it be? Is it going to be a mega outstanding lap from CRL Ferg? We're about to find out. It's a 29.5. That's a 10 slower than what Het Bompier did. Nathan does a 29.6 in second place. Where's Harvey Lee's going to put his McLaren? He's used all of his ERS. Comes towards the line. What can he do? What can he do? It's pole! It's pole. It's a 29.5 from Harvey. And he's a tenth ahead of AJ, who's just got second place. So he's got ahead of Ferg and Nathan. Where's Head Bobpia? Coming around the triple right-hander now. Let's see what the Dutchman can do. Got some good qualifying pace and he likes his track. Can he get himself on pole position for the first time in this league? He's already got himself a podium. What can he do as he makes his way across the line? It's not good enough. It's a 29.8. Where's CRL Mark? Mark has invalidated it. What about Foul Fury? Coming towards the end of the sector 1 as there's cars all over the place. Get out of the way. What can the Irishman do? Where's Double? Down there in P8. Coming towards the first corner to start his first flying lap time. As Foul Fury will get a lovely tow down that straight with Nathan. And both McLarens in P1 and P4 looking very, very comfortable so far. Can Harvey take pole as Nathan gets out of the way of his teammate as he makes his way to the heavy braking zone now? Important to scrub off all the speed. It's a 0.8 in the middle sector from Foul Fury. Make his way towards turn 16. It's a difficult corner too, especially entry and exit, as you almost lose the car at the exit of the corner. Coming towards the triple right-hander. Where can he find himself? Coming towards the penultimate corner. What can the Irishman set? Who's that car behind him? I think that's Mark. We did see him make a mistake on his lap as he goes into P9. Where's Duval then? It's a 0.6 in the middle sector from the Frenchman. As the Mercedes of Nathan heads back into the pits after giving his tow a really good slipstream. AJ will see back in the pits as Harvey leaves, then sees himself in P1. Can he keep it there? Can he be on pole position for the US Grand Prix? Coming towards the penultimate corner is Duval, the Frenchman. Hasn't taken pole position yet in the season. Coming towards the final corner, what can he do? This lap time is going to be a 30.0 and he's up into P7, a bang on 30.0. There's your initial lap times, folks. The top 9. Mark hasn't set a lap time yet. But this is going to be a really, really interesting qualifying session. Head Bobpia down there in P6 won't be happy with his lap time because he did a 29.0 in Q2. And 4 tenths off, he won't be happy. He knows there's more time to be found in these stages of qualifying. Looks like Foul Fury is going for a second consecutive run. So this middle sector is not representative. He'll head back into pits then. If he has one more set of tyres, he can go for it. But if he doesn't have any more sets of tyres, qualifying is done for him. So let's see what happens in the next coming minutes. So our championship leader then is out of the track, on the track. And very early for him as well, because he's usually one of those drivers that goes very later than 4 minutes to go then. So we'll see him, the first man out of that qualifying to set a lap time. Currently in P3 behind one of his championship rivals, CRL AJ. But Harvey Lee's then in P1. I noticed Harvey made a few mistakes in that last corner, so I think there's more time to be found by everybody, because I know everybody can go quicker than the times they've just set. Evidently proven by Ferg and Head Bobpia, so Ferg then must have made a mistake somewhere on that lap. Ferg's done a fantastic job this season, faultless drive. There's 3 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. Can he take pole position back? The best time we've seen so far in the whole of the 3 qualifying sessions is a 29.4, and that's from the Dutchman of Head Bobpia, so he'll be looking to take his crown back. Ferg looking to take his second consecutive pole after taking it in Hungary. I'll stay silent for this lap, but you can turn your volume up, ready for Ferg's lap. Makes his way across the line, and he's taken pole. It's a 29.04, so that's a 2/10 improvement from Ferg. Can anyone take that away from him? Racing Point next across the line to start his second flying lap, as Mark is still in P10 with no lap time, but he's about to set one now, as both Mercedes are giving each other a slipstream with 1 minute to go. Who is next across the line? Is it AJ? He's about to start his flying lap. There he is in P3. His last flying lap. He's got to make this count. Can he take pole position away from Ferg? What about Hartley down in P2? Invalidated his out lap, but that won't matter, obviously. Steiny's ahead of him. Is he on a lap? His teammates just giving him a slipstream, and he's a few hundreds up. So Steiny in P4. Can he get on P3 ahead of AJ? McLaren 2-3. That'd be a really good result for both of them. He's backed out. Why did he back out? Did he think he made a mistake into the penultimate corner? Anyways, is he going to go for it again? No, he's not. Qualifying is over, so I wonder what happened to Stein in that penultimate corner, because he was up in the third sector. Next one to cross the line is Nathan. He's 3/10 down, and qualifying is over for Nathan. That's a shame. He's in P5, and he was about to hit the pit lane exit until the game stopped him. Mark is next to cross the line in P10. There he is then. Both McLarens are in the first sector. And obviously Harvey Lees is on a lap. His teammate Steiny will give him a slipstream as Mark makes his way towards the final corner. No, Mark, he's just invalidated it. And what that time could it have been? A 29.5. That will put him into second or third. But that's a real shocker for Mark. He would be absolutely frustrated with that. I would have been too if that was me in the process. Indian Jesus has backed out of it, so he won't be going for another lap. AJ has put himself into P2. He's got himself on the first row ahead of Harvey Lees. And where is Harvey Lees? He's down there in P3. He's 1/10 down in the middle sector, so it won't be an improvement from him. He did get that toe in that middle sector, didn't he? So I wonder if he's just got caught up in it. As Head Bompy across the line in P5, Dealwell in P4. We've only got Harvey Lees left in this qualifying session to make a lap time. So I think it's Ferg that's going to be on pole position. Yes, it is Ferg. And Harvey found time in that last sector. He was down in the second sector, so had he not made that mistake, he would have been pole position, and that's a real shame. So qualifying is now done then. Ferg is on pole position ahead of AJ. Harvey Lees in P3 ahead of Dewell. Dewell, a good qualifying result from him after getting knocked out in Q2 last week. Head Bompier in P5, Stanley in P6, Nathan in the second place of the championship will not be happy. Foul Fury in P8, Indian Jesus in P9, and CRL Mark in P10.
Yeah, how come
Bompier couldn't get a 29.4 like he did in Q2, sadly for him. Dewell 29.5, his best lap time so far, so that's got up to P4, so good job from him. Oh, Mark, it would have been a 29.5, sadly he got those 2 lap times that validated it, and I will go see you in the race. dry race in this 28 lap race for round 14. Next time I'll be in a party by myself because I'll not make the same mistake again. I didn't expect people to join us. It was supposed to be me and my mate. So as you can see, there's only one driver on the hard compound tyres, which is a Haas driver of Cartboy. So that'll be a big stint for him then in 20th place. And Jeroen Vizet, I wonder who will take his place in the next few races, because sadly he'll be leaving us for a few races after he's got exams to do. So hopefully this will be a good last race for him down in P19. Not an ideal place, of course, but let's see what he can produce in the race. So Ferg, AJ, Harvey Lees, Duwell, Bompierre, Steiny, Nathan, Fury, both Mercedes started 7th and 8th, taking the 4th row. Indeed Jesus, Mark, and then Adam Dixon, the highest medium runner. Danny Boy, Very, Isaro Cohen, Troye, Krishna, C. Boyle Gamer, Strauss, Jeroen Vizet, and Carboy in 20th place. I expect the tyres to last for like 8 or 9 laps, those softs, and they'll come in to possibly change up the mediums, if not the hard tyres. The strategy, I think, is soft to hard. I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out in the next upcoming laps. AJ in a prime position. If he can get a really good start, because I know Ferg doesn't have really the best of starts, so if AJ does jump Ferg, gets him into turn 1 in the first corner like Kimi Raikkonen did on Lewis Hamilton, and then he could find himself leading this race and taking control in the early stages and keeping off Ferg and Harvey Lees and the rest of the pack behind. So in a good position, but we're about to find out what will happen in the next 28 laps. Obviously the first corner you can get 3 wide into there. We're all set then for the race. 28 laps ahead of us. So the lights count down now. We're underway for round 14 of the USA Grand Prix, and Ferg gets a lightning start. He's already clear ahead of AJ, as we'll try and look down the inside. There's a Mercedes going 3 wide into turn 1 with the Haas driver of Het Bompierre. The McLaren get a bit out of shape as the AlphaTauri is fighting Het Bompierre. Will they go side by side? I don't think they will. They're slotted into position as Duval stays behind Harvey Lees then, as it looks all clean in the first few laps then, so that's really good from the drivers to keep it clean. But talk about not keeping it clean, it's Dixon who spun, and he's the first victim then to get caught out as Cyril Ferg leads this race ahead of AJ after getting a lightning start, well ahead of the pack, as Harvey Lees is stuck behind AJ in P2. Then it comes Duval, Het Bompierre. Steiny goes out wide into turn 9. That's allowed the drivers of Fury to come through, and it does take the position ahead of Steiny. So both Mercedes have made places up, unless Steiny will try and take that place back. But here comes Het Bompierre. Will he go around the outside of Duval? Yes, he will. And obviously he can go side by side now as you watch the two squabble away for 4th place. Duval sticks around the outside. Het Bompierre then has the outside line for the next corner. Duval has the inside line for the next corner. Takes that place back, unless he does a switch back. Het Bompierre, no, he doesn't. We'll try and go around the outside. It's not really a good thing to do because understeer and hot tyres will obviously come into effect, and Duval stays ahead of Het Bompierre. So good tussle for 4th place between those two as we head on to lap 2 then. So Adam Dixon then spinning, and what happened to Cartboy? Because Cartboy is down at P19 and it looks like he lost an end plate. No, he hasn't, so he must have made a mistake somewhere, as we've got a lot of battles out there on the track then. So where are they? Indeed Jesus then right behind the racing point of Mark, fighting for P wherever he is, because the graphics P9 P7 actually, because yeah, where is he? And sadly we've got a yellow flag, because that's the Krishna who spun through turn 1 yet again. So he did that qualifying, and now he's done it in the race, and that's cost him dearly. And here comes that graphic glitch. Hopefully it sorts itself out, because I won't get to see much action between those guys if it continues doing this. They said they will fix it in the last few months, but obviously they haven't. DRS is not enabled this lap. It's lap 2 out of 3, so that's why they're not using it, because they don't have it. As Ferg's pulled out a healthy advantage over AJ by a second, so trying to keep him outside that 1 second range of DRS to try and break the slipstream ahead of behind him, as Seed Boys C Royal Gamer has overtaken Very for P14. The Dutchman has moved up a few places of this race. And let's see then the overall change of position. So the top 5 stayed where they were. Nathan and Valfiore have moved up to 1. Stanley moved down 2. Mark's moved up 1. Indy Jesus moved down 1. Daddy Boys 1. Cone and Choye 2. C Royal Gamer 3. Very's lost 2. Jerome's has gained 3. Strauss has gained 1. Krishna's lost 2. Dix has lost 8. And Cartboy stays where he started. As we head on to lap 3 then, so DRS is now enabled, and this will be the crucial moments of this race, because it will help the overtaking be better. So Harvey Lees then, his teammate, the guy ahead of him, hasn't got DRS of Ferg. Running in P3, Jerome Vizzer has got past Ferry for P15 of this race. Harvey Lees and AJ using a lot of EOS. So is Ferg. So a lot of these drivers using EOS very early in the stage of this race. It'll be very crucial for them, as Nathan then locks up into turn 9 right behind the back of Het Bompje for P5. Het Bompje is in pursuit of Duel, and Harvey Lees is way too far back to try and overtake AJ into the next corner. But AJ has got himself back in that DRS range, so crucially he could stick with Ferg and try and defend from Harvey Lees with a bit of assistance of DRS to keep him ahead. Het Bompje then, they're crawling all over the back of Duel, and Duel is 1.5 seconds behind Harvey Lees. So now he's defending for 2 cars behind him. Valfiore then keeping Stanley behind, and Mark, as the first penalty goes to our boy C Royal Gamer. Got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings on the 3rd lap, so he used up all of his chances, and now he's got penalties to his name. So has Cohen, so the 2 Dutchmen have got a penalty already. Not good signs whatsoever, but Het Bompje stuck behind Duel. But as you can see then, the gap is 9/10 between Ferg and AJ. Can AJ close in on Ferg? The gap is hovering around a second and 9/10. Obviously not going to be enough to try and... Het Bompje doesn't want to go too wide through that corner. Carried a lot of speed in there, but luckily he didn't exceed the track limit to go wide and pick up a warning. It's going to have Nathan all over the back of him soon. AJ's closing 2/10 more behind Ferg. Het Bompje is still looking to try and get past Duel for P4 then. Krishna has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So AJ's closed in on Ferg then, managed to get himself back in that crucial 1 second range of DRS and dragged himself in, as Het Bompje right behind Duel. In fact, it's alongside him, so round 2 between Duel and Het Bompje. Duel has the outside line, which will convert into the inside line next, unless Het Bompje decides to go down the inside, which he won't do. Goes wider to get a good slingshot coming out of the corner, but he stays behind Duel. This is a really good tussle for 4th place. Het Bompje tried it 2 times, it hasn't worked out, so would it be the 3rd time lucky for the Dutch driver to get past the Frenchman of Duel. Heading on to lap 6 out of this race. AJ striking distance behind Ferg. Did a really good battle in France. We didn't get to see it in Hungary because they started in different positions, but can we see it again here in the USA? What's going on further down? We've got Very, we've got Jerome Vizzer in a big DRS train behind Daddy Boy. So Daddy Boy is the leader of the DRS trains and the leader on the medium compound tyre runners. So he's the leader, and he's got himself a big train behind him. Carboy, I don't think he pitted, did he? So he's still on those hard compound tyres in last place. Don't know what happened to him. Maybe he had a spin or not, but looks like he's just struggling so far. Not really his best circuit, is it? Evidently, as AJ stands still behind Ferg. This is a really good chance for AJ to save his EOS now and put Ferg in a really hard position. He almost hits the back of him. A head bomb here. Goes around the outside again. This is round 3 between the two. He has the inside line, but Duel has the outside line. He tries to go down the inside and squeeze him. Hasn't quite worked out. As look at that, real contact between the two. Will he try and do a switch back? No, he won't. As Duel then, for the 3rd time, has stayed ahead of him. But head bomb here, get a much better exit, more momentum. But Duel cut him off there and stays in P4. Really good defensive strategy going on from Duel there. Head bomb here will be absolutely frustrated. He has Nathan right behind him. And obviously head bomb here using a lot of his EOS. Won't have enough left if he continues like this. Will he try and get himself into turn 1? But look at that Harvey Lees. Can he get him into turn 1 around the outside? No, he can't. What about head bomb here? They both go side by side into turn 1. Look at that. One of them has to back out because not really space for two cars. And head bomb here gets the position. But he's run out of EOS. He hasn't got any EOS. So Duel could try and get him back on that next straight. That's what happens when you use all of your EOS. And Duel then has the high ground in terms of having more power than head bomb here down that straight. Nathan looking to try and overtake both of them if he can. As Indian Jesus picks up a 3-second time penalty, but look at that, AJ is right behind Ferg. This could be really, really interesting for the battle for the lead of this race. We saw Harvey Lees on the same lap try and overtake AJ to the first corner, so his race pace is looking strong, is Harvey, as Mark has got himself past it's Steiny, as they both go side by side again. Duel has the outside line, he's retaking the position off the head bomb here, so there's really good racing going on between the two. This is the 4th time they've fought now in the space of 6 laps, so this is really good action between the two. And I thought Harvey Lees will go for it on AJ in that straight. Stays behind it for the moment, but Harvey Lees looking really, really strong. And a good advantage as well to try and take the lead off Ferg. And AJ there is looking very strong too, because he brought the gap from 1 second all the way down to 6/10 and in DRS range. So Ferg is under big pressure behind. The 2 cars hunting him down for 1st place. But this is a really good tussle between Duel and head bomb here. Obviously Nathan then can't do anything about it because he's in a DRS train. You can only hope that those two make a big mistake and cause a collision, which they won't do because they're really good professional drivers. You can see the ability to go side by side in 3 corners. Yes, there's a bit of wheel contact, but that's what racing's all about. Is AJ, if he gets a really good exit coming out this corner, because I know this corner is quite difficult, especially with slow speed corner and traction, can he get him on this straight? Can AJ try and force a move, a lunge down the inside, or will he bide his time? That's probably what he's doing. Try and make Ferg use more of his EOS, so we can hunt him down later in the race. As head bomb here, will he get past him? Nope, he's still behind. As Mark then closes in right behind Foul Fury, who's dragging along Steiny. We saw the lap previously before. Steiny almost gets out of shape without a turn 11, and he's got Indian Jesus right behind him. And Dixon has got past Krishna for P18. Harvey Lees right behind AJ and Ferg. As you can see then, Harvey Lees is using quite a lot of EOS. And he doesn't go down the inside into turn 1. AJ's going to be careful not to hit the back of Ferg. I wonder if Harvey Lees was trying to trick and use a different... try and trick him into making an overtake into turn 1. Maybe, but it's crucial EOS loss. As down the inside goes Jeroen Visser. Optimistic lunge on his fellow Dutchman. And he moves himself up into P14. We just caught that on stream, and Steve Royal Gamer has been pushed into P15, and he's got Very on the back of him. He makes a mistake, and here comes Very, moves himself up into P15. Now we've got to go to the battle for P1. He's always so close behind him, but Ferg always pulls away using that EOS. Harvey Lees having a high ground with more EOS compared to both of them, but is AJ looking to make a lunge down the inside? Nope, he stays behind. What about Head Bompier? He's too far behind Duel to make an overtake. And what about Mark? He's still far behind of Foul Fury, as C Gamer is defending very. In fact, he's got past him for P15. Maybe he used it. Yeah, he had DRS as well. So he had DRS back at Giroux Vizor, and probably outdragged very to P15. Meanwhile, back in P6, Nathan still stuck behind Head Bompier and Duel. You can see his championship rival ahead of him, just pulling away, but he's got company behind him. So the strategy to go on the hard compound tyres is now, as Mark is the first driver to pit. So here he is then, in the pit lane he goes. And what tyres will he go on to? Is it the mediums? Is it the hards? I presume it'll be the hard compound tyres. Where will he rejoin, most crucially? In 19th place. He's on the hard compound tyres is Mark. I think he's decided to do an undercut on Foul Fury because he was right behind Foul Fury but couldn't quite make an overtake, so he's trying to do the undercut, as Steiny then has got himself a 3-second time penalty on lap 9. With the pit stops coming up, will AJ go down the inside of Ferg in this lap? Looks like it, because he's right behind him. There he is then. And before the next corner, AJ has moved himself up into P1. Oh no, Harvey Lees has just hit the back of Ferg. And he's just got himself up with damage. Yes, he has. Harvey has made a big costly mistake, as Head Bompier has got past Duel for P4. Now he sniffs another podium because Harvey Lees will have to make a pit stop. As you can see, losing a lot of downforce in that corner. I wonder who will pit this lap. No one's pitted except Harvey Lees. That's a big shame for Harvey Lees. He was just... oh, never mind. But Head Bompier then is back at the podium like he was in Hungary. Can he take a second podium in a row? Big costly mistake from Harvey Lees. Mistakes he shouldn't be doing, but he's really looking for that first race win. Nathan down there in P5, he's pulled away from his teammate, as Mark has overtaken Harvey Lees for P18. So Harvey was a long way ahead of Mark before the pit stops, and now he rejoins behind him after it. Obviously changed his front wing and cost him more time. So will the race leaders respond then to Harvey Lees' pit stop? As you can see, AJ having more ERS compared to Ferg. And Head Bompier then, can he close in for the battle of the lead? The gap's gone from 1.7 to 1.4, but a bit of a moment from Head Bompier as he exits turn 11. Foul Fury is fighting with Steiny. There they go then, side by side. Steiny looking to make a move down the inside. He has been making a move, trying to make a move ever since the start of the race. They both go side by side. And Foul has the inside line for the next corner, but he goes deep and Steiny comes through. And Steiny takes advantage of that, and he moves himself up into P6, and Foul Fury then going very wide with the ever old aging soft tyres, and Nathan is in the pits then to try and do the undercut on the guys ahead. Two drivers has just picked up a 3-second time penalty. One of them is Cohen and the other one is Foul Fury. Where will Nathan rejoin then in that pack? Will he rejoin in some sort of traffic? But here's Indian Jesus then, under pressure from Danny Boy. Danny Boy on the medium compound tyres, looking to go for a very long stint on those tyres. Now the softs are coming to an end. He's back in play. Is Danny Boy. Where's Nathan rejoining? He's rejoining P16, 2.7 seconds behind Krishna, so that's doable before he comes up to traffic ahead of him. Will there be an overtake happening soon on this straight, because Foul Fury is under massive pressure? But saying that though, Indian Jesus has drained his ERS, and therefore Foul Fury can pull away with it. Danny Boy is looking to overtake Indian Jesus, knowing he's got less ERS. Will he go down the inside into the next corner? No, he won't. He stays behind. ISO Cohen trying to go around the outside. They couldn't quite make the move stick. Woodrovers are trying to get past the Williams of Choye. Midfield battle going on. This could really hold up Nathan because Nathan's almost there. As Jeroen makes contact with Choye, tries to go down the inside, and here comes Sea Royal Gamer back up into P10 ahead of Jeroen as AJ and Ferg have pitted. But this is a really good midfield scrap between the medium runners as two drivers peel off into the pits. So those two are the soft runners, I presume. Yes, all the soft runners are now in the pits, and the medium runners will take over. And Kuhn then trying to fight Danny Boy for P1 for the net lead race. This is the medium squad. And there's Krishna going around the outside. Oh, Ferg, can Krishna get the move done? No, he can't. But bearing in mind, he's on the old medium compound tyres. And look at that, Nathan is right behind Ferg almost. He needs to get rid of Krishna as soon as he can so he can start closing in on his championship rival. Obviously, Nathan's going to have better tyres, better grip. He needs to make sure he doesn't make contact with Krishna because obviously he's going to carry less speed into the corners with the old tyres. So you've got to be careful not to do that. But crucially, he's got himself ahead of Duwall. That undercut has worked beautifully for Nathan. And Head Bompy has rejoined behind Duwall too. So Nathan finds himself back on the net podium and just needs to overtake Krishna as his teammate has overtaken Choye for P3. This is going to be a really good tough one. If AJ and Ferg catch up to this train, it's going to be very difficult to navigate themselves past these guys because they're in a big train. They can't afford to make any mistakes behind these old medium runners. AJ under big pressure, but saying that though, he's got the high ground with more ERS in his disposal, so we can start using that against Ferg. Ferg right behind AJ. They're both pitted the same lap, so those tyres will be the same. But as you can see, the medium runners are ahead of us, so AJ is going to be prepared to get held up, and he's going to be prepared that Ferg will be behind him if he makes any mistakes. So you've got to be very careful in that DRS train. And here comes Duwall then making a move on Krishna, who's on the old medium tyres. Moves himself back up into P12. Head Bompy is going to make the move as soon as he can. He'll be frustrated that he's back down in a net P5 because he was in P3 at one stage. Now he's in a net P5, so you won't be happy with that one. But Ferg Nathan then starting in P7 in this race. He's right behind Ferg, his championship rival, and his other championship rival, as there's a yellow flag, and that's going to be Indian Jesus, who's made a mistake and lost his front wing, part of it too. So he's made a big error, and he's just came out of the pits. So I wonder if he's just here comes Cohen. He takes the lead of this race. Does ISO Cohen into P1 he goes. A safety car would be doable for these medium runners now, but bearing in mind they'll be on the hard compound tyres because those softs won't go to the end. As Ferg try and goes around the outside of AJ. That's to stay behind him for this minute. AJ doing some good defensive skills there as he goes a bit deep, allowing Ferg to come back as ISO Cohen and Danny Boy are fighting for P1. But obviously the big fight is between these guys because they haven't pitted yet. Well, they have pitted, I meant. As Danny Boy drops into P3, so I wonder if he's just made a mistake as AJ has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Not what he wants in his CV whatsoever, as Danny Boy is in the pit lane. They've caught up to that DRS train as AJ. He'd be wishing that Ferg gets a 3-second time penalty. But Ferg knows now that the guy ahead of him has got a penalty, so he's got the upper hand. They're on the medium compound tyres, by the way. Harvey Lees, Mark and Stanley are on the hard. So is Danny Boy, but Danny Boy obviously goes to the hard tyres because he can't make it the end on softs, and he can't choose the mediums because he starts on them. So these guys are on the medium compound tyres. As Harvey picks up a 3-second time penalty. And look at that, AJ is right behind Dixon and Very. You're going to be very careful to navigate their way through because these guys will put up a big defence. No doubt about it, of course, as Cohen leads the race as AJ is right behind Dixon for P7. You don't want to fight too hard around these guys. You've got to be very careful, make it as clean as you can. And there he is then, making his way past Dixon. Will Ferg follow him through? Cohen versus Sea Royal Gamer for P1. And Cohen stays ahead just at the moment. And Ferg gets ahead of Dixon for P8. He's just got to be careful not to make any sort of contact with these guys. Meanwhile, once those guys are stuck in a train, it's allowing these guys to be back into play. Massive dirty air. I thought AJ for 1 second would try and go down the inside as Ferg picks up a 3-second time penalty. And in the background I did see Adam Dixon almost hitting the back of Ferg. I don't know if he did hit the back of him, but if he did, it was just minor contact. So AJ could just relax for a moment because he knows his championship rival has got a 3-second time penalty, but he can't afford to get another one. Nathan's in a good position because he knows the 2 guys ahead of him have got a 3-second time penalty, so he sees a victory on his hands. Oh no! That could have gone horribly wrong. If he carried more speed into that corner, he would definitely got full wind damage. And AJ goes around the inside, but Very doesn't yield the place just yet. Oh, he makes contact again, but thankfully he hasn't lost any part of his front wing. Doesn't go down the inside. Very fights as hard as he can. He don't care that the guys behind him on a brand new set of medium compound tyres. He'll fight as hard as he can. And there he goes then. Moves himself up into P7. Nathan needs to follow as soon as he can. Don't hit the back of him. So close to contact there. Nathan Ferry's fighting back. He's not yielding. He don't care that those guys are on a brand new set of tyres. I'll just say he's just preventing the inevitable. But he moves himself up into P8. Next target is Strauss in P5. Het Bompier has got past Dixon for P11. Dixon's really struggling. He's going out very wide. So what if his tyres are coming to an end? Back on board with AJ right behind Strauss. I love these type of races where they have to go back through the middle of medium runners because it just causes more intensity. Ferg behind Strauss. Will he follow him through? Nope, he's smart enough not to do that one. He was way too far behind to overtake Strauss. A big hole of wheel spin for Ferg there. He has to tuck in behind Strauss and he loses a lot of time as well behind it. Ferg right behind Troye for P4. I meant AJ, sorry. At least AJ's put a car in between him and Ferg. And down the inside he goes into turn 9 as Ferg will go down the inside of Strauss. AJ will have DRS, so at least he can defend himself from Troye, but Troye won't have DRS, so it'll make it easier for Ferg to get past as here comes Nathan on Strauss. Ferg's gone down the inside of Troye. Nathan's gone down the inside of Strauss as his teammates coming through. There is Duel then making a move on the Dutchman. Here comes his fellow Dutchman. Nathan go down the inside here. Very smart move indeed. If Troye fights that hard. Got some good moves pulling off here. They're just navigating their way through safely and cleanly at least. Next target is Jeroen Visser. In other circumstances, Jeroen Visser would be fighting, but sadly, he hasn't got the pace tonight in this race to try and keep up with those leaders. Using his EOS to stay ahead though, so he's not going to yield the place. Will Duel go down the inside of Troye? Yes, he will. Further back, Het Bompier is under massive pressure from Harvey Lees. Harvey Lees goes down the inside of Strauss. So Harvey then in the points position in P9 and behind Het Bompier for P8. So don't discount Harvey. He's also on the hard compound tyres and they'll last longer. So 16 laps on those mediums those guys have done. And you can see they're graining. They really, really are graining. Tells me these guys will do 16 laps, they'll try to come to an end, and Harvey Lees will be back in play in P9. Those medium runners are starting to come out of the way now. We've only got 2 left now. Well, we've got 4 left because Strauss and Dixon haven't pitted yet. In terms of medium starters, but AJ's going to be very careful that Ferg doesn't make a move down the inside. AJ's going to be careful not to run into the back of Jeroen Visser, as Het Bompier has overtaken Troye for P6 of this race. AJ biding his time behind Jeroen, can't afford to make any risk whatsoever. Look at that, he's just losing a hell of a lot of time behind Jeroen. Maybe he should have tried to overtake him when he had the chance, but all that time has allowed Ferg and Nathan to be right behind on the tail. It'll bring Double, it'll bring Bompio back into play, as finally the medium runners are in the pits, the medium starters. And AJ has DRS to defend himself from second place man Ferg. There's 10 laps to go this race. This race has been amazing so far. Double's down there in P4, Harvey Lees is in P6, and he's conceded the leaders ahead of him. So if those tyres do drop off, Harvey Lees in the prime position as Giroud and Side Royale have got onto the soft compound tyres. So keep an eye on them towards the later stages of this race. They could be a threat. Varies on the soft compound tyres as well. Need to find out what their pace is, and let's see if they can close in, as Side Royale is right behind Very. Will he fight him in these corners? It'd be a bit risky, and you lose a lot of time doing that. Can he get himself in the top 10 for his first race of CRL Side Real Gamer? C Real Gamer, sorry. And here comes Ferg then. Will he go down the inside? No, he won't. He stays behind AJ. And Nathan crawling over the back of Ferg. Mark stays ahead of Dixon for P7. Side Gamer, will he try and make an overtake? We'll have to go around the long way round. He does. He has the inside line for the next corner, but obviously Very can go around the outside too. There's a much better way to go around the outside there. He has the inside line for the next corner, does Very. So will he outbrake himself? And no, he won't, and he stays ahead of Side Royal Gamers. So really good driving from both of them. And Side Royal Gamer will be frustrated not to get ahead of Very for P12. 11, sorry. Back to P1, there they are then. Ferg, Nathan, oh dear, we've got yellow flags, and that is a McLaren, and that's Steiny who's in the wall. And a safety car has been deployed, so that's spiced a lot of things up, hasn't it? Do you know what, the soft runners could have a big advantage here. The safety car has came out on lap 19 out of 28, so it's really spiced things up. Steiny has caused the safety car at the final corner. Hello second Cohen. I'll show the penalties. So the penalty system. Hello Cohen, hello the other Cohen. So first and second I've got a 3-second time penalty. Third down to fifth, no penalties. Harvey Lees 3-second, Mark no penalty. Dixon 3-second, Fel Fury 6-second, Very 3, Side Royal Gaming 3, Isaro Cohen 15, Giroud Visa 6, Troye 3, Steiny 3, Danny Boy none. And Danny Boy, is he on the soft compound tyres? No, he's not, but he can pit to go on the soft compound tyres, and maybe he can gain a few positions with having no penalties towards the later stages of the race. Strauss 3 seconds, Cartboy 3 seconds, and Krishna with 6 seconds. As first retirement goes to Indian Jesus. I never noticed Indian Jesus retiring, but whatever happened, I didn't see it. So sadly, we've got one driver out of this race. And into the pits come, no, that's a dummy. He even dummied me. So into the pits come Nathan. Nathan has pitted. Well, that's an interesting strategy call from him, and I must say he'll definitely go on the soft compound tyres. I'll take this opportunity to go to the toilet because I've been needing it for a long time. So Nathan then, down in P9 on a brand new set of softs, he finds himself in a good position because A, he's on the softs, and 2, he's got no penalties. So keep an eye on Nathan. He might have done a really good strategy here. Harvey Lee stays on the hard compound tyres. He's got soft runners, as Harvey Lee's will be a big pressure because those guys behind are on the softs. So keep an eye on them. It's going to be a really interesting race towards the end. As you can see there, people on a brand new set of softs. So looks like Ferg and AJ will be uncomfortable sat on top of the throne because other people will be coming for it. Well, you don't want to make that risk because it's not always the best choice to Harvey and Mark exchange a position, which they shouldn't be, but Jay Wills, onto your point, you don't really want to always pit because it might not work out for you. Plus with the dirty air, plus with the well, it's a good choice. But Nathan sat down there in P9, so his target to get past this guy, Side Royal Gaming or C Royal Gaming, very as well. So we've got to get past 3 cars, then the hard runners next. So I think these 2 will be easy. Then the medium runners, or head bump here, almost hits doable there, but bearing in mind he's got no penalties. Sometimes it's really good to pit at the end, but sometimes it's not. So you got to be careful. You got to watch other people, and you got to know when where you're coming out of, because if you pit, you can't have P13, then there's no point. But he's in P9, and he's got no penalties, so I think it's a really good position for him. AJ might have pitted, but bearing in mind he's got a 3-second time penalty, he don't want to risk anything, does he? So he has to stay in first with the track position in his hands. We will have 7 racing laps towards the end of the race as the race continues on lap 22. AJ being smart. Look at that, he's dubbed Ferg. Ferg has been dubbed, and look at that, good restart from AJ, but Ferg wasn't expecting that, as Het Bompje will go around the outside of Duel, fighting for a podium as he was in the early parts of the race. Stays behind Duel for P4. And where's Nathan? He hasn't got past the Dutchman of Seed Royal Gaming, but Nathan, a risky move to go around the outside of there because the inside line next, and you don't want to make contact there at a high speed corner as more people get penalties. Look at that, they're right behind. The soft runner are very right behind Steiny for Harvey leads for P6 as Very picks up as Nathan spun. The 2 Williams and the Mercedes have made contact. And I bet you Isaro Cohen was trying to go down the inside, and that was rather a silly move from Cohen because it's not a place to fight. I'm afraid, Cohen. Harvey Lee is right behind Hot Mark as he's got soft runners for company. Here comes Seed Royal Gaming for P7. If he could take it, oh! Contact there as he tried to outbrake Very, but make contact with Harvey Lee's. That's one way to take out the soft runners. Not Harvey Lee's fault, of course. He wasn't expecting that, but obviously Seed Royal Gaming was trying to. As Very goes back down the inside, he's not yielding for 7th, is he? And there he is then, back around the outside and up into 7th place. Giroud visit on a brand new. Giroud should have known that was coming. He almost lost his front wing carrying that speed, and he gets past Seed Royal Gaming, and he has got front wing damage, has the Red Bull. Dixon comes through, and the rest of them will come through because he hasn't pitted, so he'll be losing a lot of downforce in that first sector and third sector, so he's in a real bigger trouble. Is Seed Royal Gaming as Troye will go down the inside into turn 1 for P. Harvey Leeds has got past Very for P6. But it's a big shame because the championship leader of Nathan, I don't know why he intended to do that move, Cohen, down the inside. That was a silly move from the Dutchman there. I mean, you can't get past somebody at a tight corner. It's just impossible. And plus, if you do that, you're going to lose a lot of time. I don't know if Nathan shut the door on him. Maybe there's a different point of view. But in my point of view, Cohen, the door was open slightly, and he just decided to go through when it'll be shut firmly in the next few seconds. And sadly, it's cost Nathan to spin, and he'll get no points down in 18th place. Krishna under pressure from standing behind as Farrell Fury goes down the inside of Cartboy, but he can't quite make the corner stick as here comes Krishna back down the inside of Farrell Fury. It takes P15 As Drew Visser is fighting with Adam Dixon. Adam Dixon, as Feral Fury has retired, and will that cause another safety car? I really hope it doesn't, because it's a virtual safety car. But I say, if it was a safety car, we'll have no racing left. And Adam Dixon is back up into P8 after, well, not a really good start of the race. But Duval into P3. Will he claim his second podium of the season, or will it be gone to Het Bompier? Het Bompier knows Duval could win this race, you know, because, yeah, got no 3-second time penalty. If he stays in the slipstream and keeps it nice and clean, he could find himself winning this race. Het Bompier could find himself on the podium, so could Mark. So the top two in a bit is under pressure. AJ has had 3 drive-through penalties this season. Will he get a 4 for speed under the safety car? No, he won't. Back to racing then. Ferg will have to find his way past AJ if he can, but if those two hold each other, if those two fight and squabble, the more time they fight, the more time they lose, as both Renaults are going at it for P7. Very stays ahead. No! More contact! It just broke later. Drew Visser hits the back of Very too, so it's all going on down in the midfield there. But I've got to keep an eye on second place because he's about to fight AJ for first. And AJ makes the car very wide to not go down the inside or on the outside, as Drew Visser has got past Very down the inside. It's gone 3 wide. It's gone all terribly wrong. The soft runners are getting into unnecessary contacts because they could be finding themselves leading this race, but they're just making so much contact with each other. They're squabbling themselves over, they're ruining themselves over, as Het Bompier has got past Krishna for P14. They both go side by side now, as Drew Visser in his last race of the season is going mad because he's got a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting. So it's all going down in this USA Grand Prix. Why did the soft runners have to play with themselves like that? They could have found themselves fighting for the podium and the win, but sadly they've screwed themselves over by fighting themselves, and it's just cost them a lot of time. As Troye and Jeroen are fighting so hard, Jeroen's got another 3-second time penalty. So Jeroen needs to calm down, man. You need to calm down, because otherwise you're not finishing inside the top 10 if you continue with the penalties. AJ is leading this race. I'll keep the gap to leader because there we go, and the penalties like you suggested. So the gap to leader, Het Bompier needs to stay in the 3-second range of AJ if he wants to finish in second place or third. So Mark won't be getting a podium. Yes, he will, because Ferg is 2.7 seconds behind. Yeah, he's 2.7 seconds ahead. It's really crucial for Duval to stay in the DRS if he wants to win this race. Stay in the DRS of Ferg. Danny Boy's gone down the inside of Very for P9 this race. It's all kicking off in the last few stages of this race. Sadly, I don't think a Mercedes driver will get a podium because one's retired and one's down in P17. What was Cohen thinking, man? Duval can't afford to drop away from Ferg. He needs to stay in that 3-second range of DRS. There's 3 laps to go if he wants to win this race, of course. Dixon trying to go down the inside of cardboard but can't quite make it. This is the battle for P12. Well, Harvey Lee's trying to go down the inside of Mark. He's been trying to make a move on Mark for a long time, but sadly he can't quite make it. Het Bompier knows there's a chance of winning this race. If he knows it, if he does know it, he needs to get past Duval if he wants to win this race. There's a chance for Het Bompier to win this race if he can get past Duval, and sadly there's a spin from Isarel Cohen. Don't think Duval's got he's got no DRS ahead of Ferg, has he? So if Het Bompier can close in and get past Duval, he could possibly win this race. All he needs to do is not get a 3-second time penalty. I'm not quite sure what warnings he's on, but I'm not going to check because I want to spoil the race. So Het Bompier then got to be careful not to pick up any sort of warning. And Harvey Lees is swallowed up by the soft runners behind him. They're right behind him, of course. Lap 26 out of 20. There's 2 laps to go in this race. Het Bompier and Duel are on course for a podium if they keep it nice and clean and have no penalty. If Duel gets a penalty and Het Bompier doesn't, he will win this race. 2.5 seconds is the gap to leader. If he can get past Duel and close in, will he try and make a move into turn 1? I think he's just too far back. Obviously, he don't want to do anything stupid because he knows he can win this race. There's 2 laps to go. Just needs to make the pass nice and cleanly on Duel and try and close in on Ferg and AJ. I don't think there's no chance of Mark getting a 4.1 seconds, so the gap's 3.2 between Mark and Ferg, so I don't think he'll get a podium. Will Mark? Ferg will just hold in on there. Steiny picks up a 3-second time penalty, but the main battle is between Het Bompier and Duel for P3. He needs to get a decent exit coming out of that corner so he can close in right behind Duel, but that's not going to happen, is it? Sadly for him. He knows he's run out of EOS. Can he make the move down the inside of the Frenchman? This is his chance. He can't afford to not go for it. You've got to stick it around the outside. That's a warning. That's definitely a warning, but that's cost him a lot of time. He needs to get past him ASAP. He wants to win this race. He should have been a bit more aggressive than that. Jeroen Visit dives down the inside of Mark, and contact between Mark and Danny Boy. Het Bompier 2.8 seconds behind. He might be off the podium here, mate. Duel's closed in on Ferg. Het Bompier needs to find a few more tenths if he wants to stay in contention of getting a podium. Come on, Het Bompier, go down the inside. No, he hasn't gone down the inside. He needs to be a bit more aggressive than that if he wants to try and get past him. Troye looking to make a move on Mark. Mark is struggling on those hard compound tyres. He's swallowed up by the soft runners. Come on, Het Bompier. 2.9, he's in a risk of not getting a podium. The only way he can get a podium now, maybe he can get a podium if he stays within Ferg. Yes, he can. He still can get a podium. Don't worry about it. If he wants to win this race, he needs to get past this Frenchman. It looks like Duel could be winning this race, but Het Bompier desperately needs to get past this Frenchman here. He's got to do it now. He's got to do it right now if he wants to... It's the last lap, all or nothing from Het Bompier. Just go down the inside, just send it. Go around the outside, do it. No, he hasn't done it, sadly. He should have gone down the inside and just pushed him off the track. I would have done that if it was the last lap, in all honesty, but he hasn't done it. And it looks like Duel won't be winning this race either. If AJ... Yes, he won't be winning this race. AJ could win this race. It's back down to 2.9. Steiny looking to go down the inside of Cartboy. Cartboy has picked up some front wing damage. Here comes AJ around the final corner. He's going to win the US Grand Prix. Will he win this race? Yes, he does by 300ths. Ferg in P4, Danny Boy P5, Mark in P6, Harvey in P7, Strauss in P8, Troye P9, Krishna P10, Cartboy P11, Very in P12, Jeroen P13, Dixon P14, Side, Royal Gamer, and Steiny, and Nathan down in P17, Aito Cohen in P18. believe all drivers are in, aren't they? Right, we're going
More or
from
less.
P3 upwards. So
Yeah.
head bump here then. You said I messaged you before this race, and you said the chances of a podium, and you got it, mate. How do you feel?
It's of course nice to get another podium, but it's different from last week, because now I felt like I could have won that race, especially when we all pitted. I got in ahead of Duel, and then when we came out, I was suddenly half a second behind him, and I feel like if that wouldn't have happened, I maybe could have won this race, but still, P3 is nice, of course.
Do you think you should have been more aggressive on Duel? Because I knew you could have won that race, but I think you should have tried got down the inside instead of run the outside.
Well, I didn't want to ruin both of our races with a dive bomb and maybe just running him off track or running myself off track.
Could have
So-
risked it sometimes.
Yeah, I knew I was on the podium, so I thought that was good enough.
So, do you know when you could have won that race? Are you a bit frustrated with P3?
Yeah, right now I am, but when I look back at it, it's probably just a good result.
At least you managed to fight your way back to P3 because you did get undercut by Nathan and Duel.
I think I only got undercutted by Nathan, but
Duel
Duel
came.
jumped me in the pits.
Ah, I see. I was wondering what happened.
Yeah, yeah, just better strategy from Nathan.
In Q3, we know you set a 29.4 in Q2, and in Q3 you didn't really match that. I think you did a 29.6. Are you a bit frustrated in quality? Could you done more?
Yeah, of course, if I just replicate the time from Q2, which most of the times is doable, maybe even better, it would have gotten on the front row, but still, there
Well,
was
this-
many more opportunities in this race, but
But it's your second consecutive podium, and you're starting to get up there now, aren't you?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Good
Can't
job
complain,
then,
can't
mate.
complain. Thank you.
Nice to see you up here again and scoring big points.
Yeah, definitely.
So in the next race, what are you expecting from there?
Carnage. It's Monaco, right? Yeah.
Oh,
I mean-
yeah.
I know I can be fast, but we have another man here who I believe is a bit faster.
And who's that?
Frenchman P2.
Ah. Well, thank you for joining the podium, head bump. Yeah, congrats on P3 and mate, and maybe one better next week if you can.
We'll see.
Yeah, good job though, mate. Good pace today. Race pace is better.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah, like you said, completely different from last week because this week you had the pace to keep up with the leaders.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And I didn't have to do a massive comeback from P15.
yeah, so pace is getting better and better. So just keep believing in
Yeah.
yourself, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job, mate. And move on to P2. Duel, another podium again.
Yeah.
I bet
No.
you're very frustrated knowing you could have won this race.
Of course, I am a bit frustrated, but when you think where I was like 3 weeks ago, now it feels good to fight for the win. I can't complain, and yeah, no, I'm very happy to be P2 on this race. Of course, like 400 of a second, maybe less.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but it's still better than P14.
Do you think Head Bompier could have cost you win the amount of defending you would have had to do against him? Do you think he cost you the time?
Surely, but he had to
Do his job.
try his luck. Yeah, he had to try his luck to get also the dub. So yeah, fair play to him and fair play to AJ to build the gap he needed in the final lap. So no, that's a pretty good result. I can't complain. I am happy.
With the when the safety car came out and the soft pitters people on them hards and mediums pitted onto the softs, were you a bit worried about them coming after you for the race?
Nope, not at all.
You knew you had the pace.
Yeah, and there is like 6 or 7 laps. They had to make overtakes, so they had to lose some time. So now I was sure the win will be between AJ Ferg, myself, and Bumpy.
You had a good battles with Bumpy, especially towards this beginning of the race and middle of the race. How would you describe them?
Pretty fair, pretty intense, but yeah, I think we leave enough space to each other every time, so yeah, I'm happy to have such good fight on track with good racer like him.
Bumpy, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I agree as well. Because I caught them fights and they were amazing. Good job to both of you.
Thank you.
And second consecutive podium like Head Bompier, so things getting better for you as well.
Yeah, I'm finally leaving my depression hole I was in like 5 weeks in a row. So yeah, it's good to be back where I was used to be.
It's nice to see you back too, Kevin. Moving on to our race winner, AJ. Congrats, mate. I don't know what to say to you because every time you have a bad race, you always seem to come back after that and win a race or something like that. Because the race before France didn't really go well, and this race it went well, and Hungary you messed it up, and here you are back again. So, do you know every time you have a bad race, do you just get stronger and stronger by it?
Well, if that's how it looks, then I guess that's kind of how it works. But yeah, great race today. I had some good battles with a few drivers when after we came out of the pits, myself, Ferg, and Kevin, and all that. We just saw a massive train ahead of us, and we were just like, "Oh no, this can't go well." But respect to everyone in that train, sort of leaving space, and yeah, did some great racing through sectors 2 and 3. But yeah.
Towards the end of that race, the gap was very close between you and Duel, hovering around 3 seconds. Were you very nervous that you weren't going to win this race?
Well, over the course of the last 3 laps, I went from thinking, okay, top 5, probably my sort of target. 5th place. I saw Mark was about 2.9 seconds behind me. I thought, okay, if I can hold this, I can get P5. Next lap, it got to, okay, I can get a podium here if I can just sort of push a little bit more. And then then I realized, okay, I've got like extra 0.5 laps of fuel in my tank.
Yeah.
And I've got a decent amount of ERS. I'm just going to send it and see what I can get. And then it went from, I can get P2 in going through Sector 1 to Sector 3, pushing it like mad through the little tight corners, to realizing, oh damn, I can get P1 here. But yeah, great race from everyone. That was definitely the most I'd pushed in a race for a while. Oh yeah, enjoyed it.
I bet you were very frustrated because when the safety car came up, you see Nathan pitting, and were you nervous about him coming after you towards the end or near the end?
Oh, not at all, not at all. I'd learned from the race in Monza that if there's a safety car during a time when if you can make your tires last to the end, because of the pace of the drivers in this tier, I think it's better off holding for track position than it is for pitting for a quicker tire if your tires can last to the end. So, yeah. Just pretty happy with the result, and it's a shame that Nathan Harv couldn't get better results, but here we are.
Yeah, indeed. It's really heartbreaking for Harvey and Nathan. I don't know what happened between Cohen and Nathan. I can only assume that Nathan opened the door slightly and Cohen just thought I'd go through. And both made contact, and both span off together and hit the wall together, and both pitted together.
I don't know the specifics, but I hope it was alright.
This really helps you in a championship fight against your brother Nathan, because obviously Nathan's scoring no points and you just about 20 points behind. Is that true? 25 points, maybe more or less?
I hope. I hope so. I'll just have a quick gander at it now, and yeah, I think it should take me above Nathan, but I think it's going to be a decent battle with Ferg over the next 2 races to see who can get the win for the title.
What are you thinking in the next 2 races? For the next 2 races?
Well, I said the same thing last time I was up here. I'm kidding. I think I'm pretty confident in Monaco and Britain. I think Ferg will have just a bit of an edge, so I just need to get a decent finish in Monaco, and I think I'll have a decent chance.
Congrats on the win today, mate, because it was a thrilling race against the top three. Shame Harvey couldn't be in the race. Maybe could have spiced things up, and Nathan as well. So, congrats on the win. Het Bompje, congrats for the second podium of the season and second in a row.
Thank you.
And Duel, congrats for the second podium of season 2, or maybe third. I can't quite remember.
Fourth podium this season.
Fourth podium. Congrats for being back on the podium, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you all next week. Where is it?
Yeah,
Monaco.
see you next week.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Monaco next week at 8 p.m. next Thursday.